Let me tell you something. You're not ready to get into a debate with Larry Elder.
Making the country work.
We actually, Larry,
listen.
Larry, I'm
making the
going
country work.
Larry, I'm going to be very clear about something.
Hold on, Charles.
Hello friends, welcome to Look and Live. You are here with Pastor James Devallon, and this is The Perspective. On the screen I have for you Larry Elder. Larry Elder is now on TMZ. This is about a year old, by the way, but he is, oh my goodness, was he spitting it. Larry Elder, give them a good one for their money on this one. Now listen very carefully to what he says concerning Black Lives Matter, the death of black folks in their community. I'm telling you, they got owned. Without further ado, friends, we're gonna get into this thing.
Well, Harvey Levin of TMZ and I had a pretty feisty conversation in which he argued that President Trump was essentially being racist for not recognizing systemic racism. The conversation started out okay, but it went south pretty fast.
At the same time, Donald Trump is touting that he feels he has been better for African Americans than anybody except possibly Abraham Lincoln. And he's trying to paint a fairly rosy picture of what it's like for black people in America under his tutelage. So how do you square the two?
This man is doing something about the economy before the coronavirus pandemic, historically low unemployment. The man has signed the First Step Act, which allowed something like 5,000 mostly black men to have their sentences reconsidered and reduced an average of about 75 months. He's also spent more money on enterprise zones. He's put funding on HBCUs for the first time over a period of 10 years. No one's ever done that before.
The president is also saying that there is no systemic racism in America. There is no systemic racism in police.
Yeah, I love when Larry Elder lay out these facts. He comes ready. This man has done his work. And I love the fact when you talking to Larry Elder, you better come prepared. I have a video coming up on Dave Rupin discussion with Larry Elder. And it's amazing to listen to that if you haven't already heard that. It's just that the facts that he brought in this discussion has totally changed Dave's perspective on many issues in our world. But notice what they've done though. Despite the fact Larry Elder done lay out these facts, they just leave the matter all alone and brought a whole different discussion because they're not answering these facts. They know that they are true, but instead of acknowledging the fact, okay, Trump has done these positive things, even though we don't like him very much, but at least let's give credit where credit is due. They won't even do that.
And
so they move into systematic racism.
In America, there is no systemic racism in policing. And
there isn't.
Okay. All right.
There is no evidence of systemic racism whatsoever. In fact, the evidence shows the opposite. I was just about ready to say there's a black Harvard professor named Roland Fryer who assumed, just as you did, that the police were killing blacks just because they were black. He did a study. Not only did he not find it, he found out, which tracked other studies, the police are more hesitant, more reluctant to pull the trigger on a black suspect than on a white suspect. And it's common sense because of people like people in the media who immediately assume that a cop is doing something racist or motivated because the victim is black. They're afraid to shoot a black person much greater than they are afraid to shoot a white person.
Larry, you're from Los Angeles, and you know what happened with the Rampart Division. It was an incredible scandal where they were going into the inner city and they were setting people up and planting drugs and doing all this stuff. I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
Harvey, 20 years ago, from 1992 to 2002, Los Angeles had back-to-back black police chiefs, even during the O.J. Simpson case. And what happened?
But that doesn't mean
you're make it go away, Larry.
You can't look at a black police chief and say, therefore, there isn't systemic racism.
Right. We had a black president. Is there no racism in America then, Larry? I mean, come on.
First you said systemic racism. Now you're saying racism. Which one do you want?
No, I'm saying
there's no evidence whatsoever of systemic racism.
They're laughing at Larry, but Larry is killing them with facts and he is standing his ground. I love this guy.
Ask you to prove it.
A cop watching somebody run away, a black man run away, shooting him and killing him. A guy walking into a convenience store, shooting him and killing him. Larry, we've seen this.
Okay.
But that's been done to many other races than not just blacks. So there's a lot of stories behind some of these blacks who are shot while running away, and I don't wish that on anybody. But there were other stories that we don't hear from the news either. But to top it off, it's not just blacks this has been done to. It's been done to a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Spanish, a lot of Mexican, a lot of white. Okay, so it happens to many other people out there, but when it is done to blacks, it's just that we just throw a fit and have a whole bunch of riot and start tearing down businesses. That's what we do differently than they do.
Okay, here's the thing, Larry. I hear what you're saying about the studies.
Harvey, let me try it this way. There are 50 million police-civilian interactions.
There goes the facts. Brace yourself for the facts now. Let's go, Larry.
Let me try it this way. There are 50 million police-civilian interactions every single year. Out of that 50 million, there are 11 million arrests. Out of that 11 million arrests, 60,000 officers are assaulted. Out of all of that, 1,000 civilians are killed. Half of them are white, 250 of them were black. Almost all of them were resisting with a weapon or resisting violently. When you get down to unarmed black men being shot by white cops, you're talking about less than 4% of the total. And unarmed does not mean not dangerous. Michael Brown was unarmed, but he was reasonably perceived as dangerous. It is rare, Harvey, you guys are exaggerating this. When a white person gets killed by a cop, nobody gives a damn. When a black person gets killed by a cop, people are out in the streets. And in Philadelphia, you're talking about a city where the captain of the city council is black.
True.
Almost every single member of city council is a Democrat. They've had black mayors. The police chief is a black female, and you're still talking about systemic racism. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous. Larry, can somebody just drive the mic? Can we drop the mic? Lord have mercy, he did it.
Police chief is a black female, and you're still talking about systemic racism. It's ridiculous.
It
You ought to be
is.
ashamed of yourself, really. You're making the country worse.
We actually, Larry.
And it's true. They are making the country worse. And listen how they are scrambling here with their words, because what Larry just did, he just literally left them flabbergasted with facts, and they are choking on it. Listen to how they're responding to this. Listen.
You're making the country worse.
We actually, Larry.
Listen.
Larry, I'm going to be very clear about something.
Hold on, Charles.
You see what's going on here? The facts have hit them over their heads so hard that they're trying to redeem themselves here. And it's like they can't gather their thoughts together. Larry, I think that's funny. I'm not saying this to make fun of them. It just shows you how serious of a mental gymnastics some of these people have to do in order to sustain their narrative, because he just obliterated everything they were trying to argue with him about.
Larry, I'm going to be very clear about something.
Hold on, Charles.
I sleep just fine at night, and maybe you do too, and that's fine. So we're going to disagree on this.
Maybe you should be, Larry, because there is a
The facts are on my side. The facts are on my side. The facts are not on your side.
And you are relying
2 versus 1, and I know who's winning in this fight here, man. Look at how upset he's gotten, especially Harvey. Was it Harvey Levine? He's overwhelmed with facts. He doesn't know what to do with himself, and he's trying to be mad right now, but he has to compose himself.
There is a
The facts are on my side. The facts are on my side. The facts are not on your side.
and you are relying on statistics, and you are not looking at humanity, Larry.
You're relying on statistics. You're not looking at humanity. The thing is, we should look at humanity, but we should also look at statistics. When you're looking at humanity, right, in the light of racism, just because one person dies or something like that, and we make a whole bunch of noise, we're looking at humanity, right? Your perspective of it is very singular. You're like, oh my goodness, there goes, yeah, that's racist right there. Based on this one experience with this one human being. But when you look at the numbers, you look at statistics, and you have a general perspective. Now, although statistics doesn't prove anything, for those of you who do statistics, it only confirms, right? So it confirms or it affirms this is the other side of the story. This is the reality. that helps you to shape your perspective differently, because it tells you, hey, wait a minute, I'm mad about this particular situation concerning a human being, concerning a black man. But when I look at the numbers and I say, oh my goodness, my Caucasian friends are dying. My Spanish are dying. Blacks have died too. But the numbers for other races dying in the hands of police, majority of them were resisting arrest, including blacks. The number for other races are much higher. So why do we make such a big deal for the blacks that are dying? We have to look at the stats, because the stats tells us a lot about the story.
Facts. It's called facts.
Did he really say you are relying on statistics, not looking at humanity?
Yes, he
You
did.
are relying on statistics, and you are not looking at
It's
humanity,
called
Larry.
facts.
He sure did.
He did.
It's called facts. It's called
Yeah, well,
evidence.
I gave you
Oh my goodness. Facts doesn't care about your feeling. Isn't that what Ben Shapiro said? And I have to agree. I love me some facts.
And
Well,
open
you're
your eyes,
academic.
Larry. There's evidence.
You've
There's
not
visual
answered.
evidence every day. Open your eyes if you're not seeing it.
1997, Time Magazine, CNN asked black teens and white teens.
You know they lost the fight already, right? And this tells you the power of logic, in a sense. And and it's something I've learned even in spiritual matters as well. When you're arguing a biblical point, right? You don't need to argue with all this extra nonsense. Because I met a guy recently, and I'm not trying to shun atheists and disrespect them, but he was trying to disprove the Bible. And I used the Bible to disprove him. And by the time we were done, we were laughing, we were friends, and we smiled at each other. And he respected me for that. I gave him the biblical facts. He got hit over the head real hard. But he realized at that moment how ignorant he was. But nevertheless, instead of getting into all the nitty-gritty and trying to fight, no. Hate them with the truth. The thing about truth, you can't fight against it. Truth will beat you down no matter what. Larry Elder just hit them over the head with truth, and they don't know what to do with themselves.
Seeing it.
1997, Time Magazine, CNN asked black teens and white teens about racism. Is racism a major problem? This is 23 years ago. Is racism a major problem in America? They said yes. But then the black teens were asked this: is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? 89% said no problem or a small problem in my own daily life. In fact, more black teens and white teens said failure to take
But Larry,
advantage of
what did you say that study was?
is a bigger
Hold on,
problem
Larry.
than racism.
You said that study was in 1997?
Yeah, before Barack Obama got elected and reelected. So I would think that
Okay,
whatever racism
1997. We're in 2020. You want to bring up a study that was done?
No, the point of Larry Elder's bringing up this study is showing before Barack Obama, we were less racist than we are now. And if you don't believe that to be true, Barack Obama has revived the sentiments for racism in this country. I didn't think that until I did my research and I saw some of his speech. And I said, oh my goodness, this dude was really bringing this stuff back to life. Having a black president was nice, but boy, we have more racist problems today than we did prior to Mr. Obama. That's not a good thing.
23 years ago?
The relevance of it is, wouldn't you think that America was more racist in 1997 than now? Even then, black kids.
No, actually,
No,
I think it's
wouldn't.
more racist now than it was in 97.
That is foolish. The reasons they are racist now, more racist now, is because of your promotion of it. You keep this as a talking point. You speak about this matter over and over again. You make more movies about it so we keep it in the forefront of our minds. You have TV shows that promote more of that nonsense. You highlight black deaths more than you highlight any other deaths in the nation. That's why it exists today. Because it is the talk of the day. And those Marxists, they love it.
Because I think people have.
You guys are so intent on improving the country?
Larry, let me talk.
Actually,
Why
I
is it
don't.
you're so
Hold
intent
on.
Hold on. Larry, I
Why
want to
is it
say
so
one.
intent on improving a country that has
Larry,
been so
Larry, please.
traditional?
Larry, please. I'm going to tell you why I think it's more racist, and then I want to give you the final word, okay?
Thank you.
I think it's more racist because of Donald Trump, because of the things he says,
Oh, really?
and he has given permission. Let me just make my point. You get the final word. He has given people permission to be racist. He has given people permission to be violent.
You are delusional, man. You are delusional. You think Trump is the reason why this country is more racist? Bruh. This was going on before Trump. Yes, Trump probably exposed the reality of what's been going on. But it's not like he made it. He didn't have to make it. It was already here. Under Obama, we were already headed in that direction. I think what happened with Trump, he became a scapegoat in a way, where people can say, here's the reason why we are racist. But that's not really true. If you know who Trump was before he became a Republican, he was loved and appreciated by many blacks. Even Democrats used to have Trump on their show. Trump was featured in many music, hip-hop music. He used to give loans to black people. But the moment he became a Republican, oh no, we gotta kill this guy.
Violent. He has talked about liberating states. He has talked about white supremacist groups standing by. He is deliberately not using the proper pronunciation of Kamala Harris's name. He is doing a lot of stuff that sounds racist, that is giving people permission. And that's why I think we're seeing this influx of racism, which I believe is worse than in 1997. You have the last word. You have the last word.
Wow. The high point of race relations for both whites and blacks took place during the administration of George W. Bush. It dramatically catered during the second term of Barack Obama when he was saying things like the Cambridge police acted stupidly. We have a little place called Ferguson. When he was touting Black Lives Matter, that's when race relations really declined. There is a city in Texas called Abilene, which is the city of 100,000 population or more that most voted for Donald Trump, almost 80%. Guess which city just voted for a black mayor? Its first black mayor, Abilene, Texas. Now, how is it if Donald Trump is sending a racist dog whistle to voters, the same racist dog whistle turned around and voted for a black man for mayor? It's BS. Donald Trump has done a great deal for black people, most especially the economy. Secondly, supporting choice in school. Thirdly, doing something about the competition posed by illegal aliens. That's good enough for me. The rest of it to me is just white noise, pardon the expression.
Somebody get Larry Elder a blanket. Please, somebody get a fire extinguisher and spray him because he's on fire. They laugh.
Okay, we will leave it there. That was good, Larry. That was good.
Much love,
Larry,
Harvey.
thank you.
All right, thanks, Larry.
You got it, guys.
At least they were respectable at the end. I have to give credit where credit is due. That was a really, really good one. Guess what? Guess who won this debate? Larry Elder. Facts always wins. And I think this type of discussion needed to take place. At least they were respectful about it. But again, and again and again. Man. You talking about a man who knows what he's talking about? Larry Elder is the man. And again, regarding the discussion in itself, come on, friends. Enough. Enough is enough. Like, we need to stop. And the thing is, to say what Trump did made people more racist, Trump was being silly. Trump was just, he had his way. That was his mannerism. He was not about racism for him. Real racist to me, the ones who are really promoting racism to me are those who are talking about it nonstop. Those who are pushing the idea that black are oppressed. Those who are saying, "Oh, you can't make it. The culture is after you. If you're a black man, cops gonna kill you." That fans the lifeline, the life of racism even more. That brings more the resurrection of racism even more than anything else. Because you don't have to say that I'm this or that. Just making me feel that way, making me think that way, making me think that my white friend or my Caucasian friend is out to get me. That creates more racism than anything else. Instead, we should be teaching people how to love one another, respect each other, and to be kind. And even though we have our differences, we can still work things out. That's what we should be talking about, but these social justice warriors don't really care about that. According to the Bible, Acts 17:29, he have made of one blood all nations of men to dwell on the face of the earth. All these racist talk, really, we're wasting our times, right? We're wasting our time for a number of reasons. Number one, we have one Father. Number two, God created all men by one blood, which is through Adam. Number three, we don't really have skin color. Do you know what we have? We have shade of the same color. So when we're talking about black, white, and everything, we are making a big mistake in ethnicity and everything. These words really shouldn't even be existing. Race, it's not biblical. You don't find it in the Bible either. What you have a different skin color tone, different pigment, different level of pigmentation in the skin individual, because at the end of the day, God created all of us. We don't have to look exactly the same. We have one Father. We may have our differences in our cultures and our perception about different things, but we do bleed red. At the end of the day, we die and we go to the same grave. At the end of the day, we all have to face God despite of the color of our skin, because God is going to look at our character and what we did with the blood of Jesus. At the end of the day, it's not a matter of how smart and wise and how healthy you are. It's a matter of what you did with the gifts that God has given you and how you treated your fellow man at the end of your day. So you think racism is your worst thing? No, I'll tell you what is your worst thing. It's your own sinful character that you have not repented and given over to Christ. That's what you should be afraid of. But I'll stop right there. Comment below, put your thought and perspective below. Let me know what you think about this. Until next time, remember, and as always, look unto Jesus, live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.